Welcome back to Senior Support. Our guest today is Jennifer Lohner. She's with the Hastings-Prince Edward Alzheimer Society. Now, Jennifer, as I understand it, with some of the dementias and Alzheimer's disease, their wandering can be an issue. Once a person has the diagnosis, let's say, or maybe even if they haven't had a diagnosis, wandering can become an issue for them.
Yes, it can. The stat is actually 6 out of 10 people with dementia will go missing at some time throughout their diagnosis. So it is a huge issue, and there's many reasons why someone may go off. Wandering kind of implies that there's no reason for it, where a lot of people with dementia, they think there is a reason for it. So they may think they're going to work. They may be living in a time where they think they're getting their kids off the bus, or they need to get to a certain place, because that's part of dementia, is losing track of time and knowing where they're at. So there's many reasons why people will go missing, but absolutely 6 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. So when you say go missing, that implies that perhaps the caregiver is unaware that they have gone out of the house, for example, or maybe we could use an example. They go with their caregiver to the mall, and then the caregiver turns around and they're not right there beside them. What's the next step then?
Well, it would depend. It's really understanding as a community, what does it look like to have somebody that is actually lost or have gone missing. So in that case with the person at the mall, they would probably seem a little confused. They might be repeating the same thing over and over, like, I need to get to my wife, or I need to get to the car, assuming that it's a male that's gone, that is lost. So look for those tell signs, or just standing and just looking off and not really going anywhere. So what we would say is to make sure that you're approaching them from the front, because people with dementia, their peripheral vision is changed. They only see what is directly in front of them most of the time. So you really need to approach them, tell them who you are, and be really calm and be reassuring and saying, can I help you? And if they continue to say, I just need to get to my car, I need to get outside, try to distract, to say, hey, well, I'm here and let's talk, or get them to a safe place where they're not distracted. We would say check for a medical alert bracelet, a blue medical alert bracelet that may have information that you can call the number and you can find out who their care partner is. Or if you're in a mall, it would be trying to distract them and then finding out what their name is and maybe finding out where their partner is. Definitely not letting them go outside by themselves.
Mm-hmm. Now, you say when 6 out of 10 people go missing, that would mean then that any of us could encounter someone who needs some help the way that you describe. Is there a way that you train? I think there is actually, that you train the staff maybe at stores or in the mall, so that they know how to respond.
Absolutely. We do Finding Your Way is a big program that the Alzheimer Society has done. And we can do this training for anybody. We have specialized training for police and EMS and firefighters, but we also go into community agencies, into the mall. We've been into Quinte Mall and trained their staff, in bus drivers, anybody that's in the community. We will train to help know the signs and then how to approach and how to help.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that knowing the signs is very good. Let's just go over the knowing the signs again, just so that we're clear. What would be an indicator that a person is not where they're supposed to be?
Well, they could be dressed inappropriately, whether it's too much clothing in the summer or too little clothing in the wintertime, because their judgment, dementia affects their judgment and it affects their senses, so they don't feel hot and cold the same. So anytime you see something that seems out of place, so say for instance it's winter, somebody walking down the road with slippers on and a house coat in the middle of the winter, that would be a huge sign. Again, it would be if they are pacing a lot or if they're standing still. It can be either one. But just looking like they're not comfortable and don't know quite where they are, or repeating that same phrase over and over again, I just need to get home, or I just need to get the kids, and being able then to approach them in a very calm, supportive manner.
Mm-hmm. So just to come back to our example in the mall, for example, you say that the staff in the mall, in many of the stores, and probably the staff at the reception desk have received training on how to respond. So probably if it was possible, you could encourage the person to go with you to the desk, or you could alert them at the desk. Would that make sense in that case?
Yep, absolutely. And if the person appears confused and is saying something that just doesn't make sense, you really don't argue with them about it. You just go with their story, go with their reality. They may think they're there and they're there to get a present at, say, if it's at a gift wrapping site. So just go with it and say, oh, well, yeah, we do have some things here, but let's go sit down and have a chat here, and just go with it. Because if you say the opposite, or no, you're not getting your kids off the bus, or kind of thing, because like it's an 80-year-old woman, that's just going to upset them. So you definitely stay in their reality.
Mm-hmm. And with our example of the person in their slippers and house coat walking down a road, I would expect calling 911 would be the
Absolutely. You should always call 911 because you don't know how long a person has been lost, and because their families may have called the police already. So even in the mall setting, if you couldn't find out the person's name, say they didn't have any identification on them, then you would still call 911, because maybe the person has called the police saying, I've lost my person in the mall, and they would be able to assist.